31st of December, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashevua, Vaera.
Good morning, Lou. How are you?
Good morning, Rabbi. How are you?
Fine, Baruch Hashem. Good to see you.
Good morning, Yechiel.
Good morning. Good morning to
Good
everybody.
morning, Yechiel. Everyone's doing well today.
Baruch Hashem. Ready for a rousing rendition of the Parsha of the week.
Be'ez Hashem. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, so good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. Erev Shabbos, Parsha Vaera, Tavshin Pei Base, and this is Shiva Shamanafshi, care of Zoom here in Shalim. If you like, we could take your Chumash Parsha in Sefer Shmos with Rashi, and we'll take a look at a pasuk. It's a pasuk we're going to look at in the Rashi, especially in Perek Ches and pasuk Chof Vov. And we're in the midst of the Makkos here, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu is training Klal Yisrael. Training Klal Yisrael to get ready to come out of Mitzrayim and accept the Torah or Sinai. So a lot of things to learn. So I guess we could start actually. Never. You know what? Let's get a picture of the whole parsha. Lou, if you'd like to read, you could start in Perek Ches, and that's pasuk. Pasuk Chaf Aleph, okay? Pasuk Chaf Aleph. We'll read the psukim and we'll get to. We have to really get to pasuk Chaf Vav. But if we start with pasuk, you know what? Something produced. Yeah. Shishi, you test. Let's look at the whole parsha, right? So we know what's being referred to. Perek Ches, pasuk Yud Tes. You can read it, and we'll go through the psukim. Good morning, Barry.
Okay. What pasuk are we doing?
We're starting with in Perek Ches, the 8th chapter in pasuk Yud Tes, 19.
Ches, Yud Tes, okay.
Ches Yud Tes, right.
Masamti Kedus Beis Ami Ubeis Amecha Le Machar Yiyeh Haos Hazeh. Okay, and I will place redemption between my people and your people.
Excuse me, but I'm not finding that pasuk. Did you say Ches? Chet? Zion Ches? Like Ches?
No, Chet, chapter 8, pasuk Yud Tes, 19. 8:19.
8:19. The Samti
Produce is produce.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Tomorrow, this sign will come about.
Yes.
So Hashem is talking to Paro.
The Kadosh Baruch Hu is now speaking to Moshe. Hashem is talking to Moshe.
So it says my people and your people. Who are your people?
Right. That my people are the Jews and your people are the Egyptians.
Okay. All right. Vayas Hashem Cain Vayavo Arov kaved Beisa Paro Ubeis Avadav Uvachol Eretz Mitzrayim Tishaches Haaretz Mipnei Ha'arov. Okay, and Hashem did so. He brought beasts, a heavy dose of beasts into the house of Paro and the house of his servants, and all of the land of Mitzrayim it was destroyed. Now my English said is destroyed in front of or because of the wild beasts.
Right.
Excuse me, what pasuk is it?
We're in the 8th chapter, and we just read the Psukim 19 and 20.
Okay, thank you.
Weiter.
Right, very good.
Vayikra Paro el Moshe ula Aharon Vayomer lechu ziv hu lelo kechem ba'aretz. And Paro called to Moshe and Aharon and said, go and slaughter to your God in the land. Vayomer Moshe lo nachon la'asos ken
Amen.
ki to'avas Mitzrayim nizbach la'Shem Elokeinu hein nizbach es to'avas Mitzrayim la le'einehem velo yiskalunu. Okay, so it means, and Moshe said, no, not correct. It's not correct to do this because the abomination of Egypt we will sacrifice to Hashem our God.
Right now, it's important to realize Moshe Rabbeinu excuse me, Moshe Rabbeinu right there in front of Paro is referring to his false gods as toavas, as abominations. Yeah. You have this attitude, an attitude that they teach the children in school comparable religions, right? And the attitude that we have to have is what other people worship, it's a toeva, it's abominations. And here Paro is hearing from Moshe Rabbeinu that what he worships is in fact an abomination. It's the worst, most disgusting thing you can imagine in the world. Trying to imagine the worst, most disgusting thing, and that's what he's bowing down to. That's what he reveres. That's what he honors. So the basis of that is because you have to realize that any type of belief in anything rather than directly to a Kadosh Baruch Hu is the worst, most despicable thing you could possibly do. So Moshe Rabbeinu was telling Pharaoh, not proper that we should, right there in Mitzrayim, in front of all of you, take what you cherish and love and worship and revere, and we're going to, offer it up as sacrifice to our true and only God, Kadosh Baruch Hu. And this, by the way, is what exactly happened, meaning what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying we can't do, was when we took the sand on Erev Pesach, on the Dalit of Nisan, when we came out of Mitzrayim. That's exactly what we did. That's why we say it's Shabbos Agadol, because in Shabbos Agadol, the 3 days before we were supposed to shek the seh, we took the seh, and that was the Toevis Mitzrayim. That was the despicable, disgusting thing that the Egyptians worship. We took it, and in front of their very eyes, we tied it to our beds. They asked us, "What are you doing with it?" We're going to say, we said, we're going to slaughter it and roast it, and we're going to eat it. Right? And these people, they couldn't believe it. This is their G-D. This is what they bow down and revere. But that's the situation. And that's what we're supposed to show the rest of the world. We're supposed to show the rest of the world that what they believe in is Toeva. It's the most disgusting things that they can imagine in our eyes and in the eyes of Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the eyes of God.
Weren't the Egyptians by that time incapable of stopping us? They were kind of beat up. They were beat up by that time, no?
Not necessarily. By Shabbos Agadol, look. 7 days later, they came charging after us with the Yam Suf. They still had a pretty strong army, right, Barry?
That's true. Yeah.
You wouldn't. I don't think you'd want to, start fighting with Egyptian chariot.
Where did they get all those animals?
That's a good question.
Where did they get all these big, strong horses from? I thought everything was, all the animals were done.
Okay, that's a good question. We'll have to save it for another Parsha or two for now. Okay, we'll if you remind me, we'll try and work on that. Okay.
Okay.
Bezos Hashem. Okay. So yeah. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Pharaoh, nothing doing. We got to go out. We can't stick around here." Let's see the next pasuk.
I didn't finish translating this one.
Oh, sorry.
Behold, if we were to slaughter the abomination of Egypt in their sight, would they not stone us?
Okay.
Derech shaloshes yamim nelech b'midbar v'zavachnu l'Hashem Elokeinu kasher yomar aleinu. We will go a 3-day journey in the wilderness, and we will offer to Hashem our God like that which he tells us. Vayomer Paro, Anochi ashalach eschem uzevachtem LaShem Elokechem b'midbar rak harchek lo sarchiku laleches ha tiru ba'adi. And Paro said, I will send you to offer to Hashem your God in the wilderness only what is harchek?
To distance yourself.
Okay, only distance yourself. Lo sar chiku. That's the same word.
Yeah, right. So, but rather just distance yourself, but don't distance yourself.
Lelechet, to go. Ha tiru ba'adi. And entreat for me. So Paro said, I will send you, and you shall bring offerings to Hashem your God in the wilderness. Only don't go far off, and entreat and pray for me.
Good. So now a couple of things here. First of all, and we're gonna we'll come back to this in a couple of weeks. This concept of going out for 3 days, right? So here it's introduced this concept that Klal Yisrael was supposedly supposed to go out to 3 days. And then apparently the impression was given, well, you're going to come back, right? So this is a big question. What's this concept of going out for 3 days? I mean, what's the whole point of Moshe Rabbeinu going down there to Mitzrayim and talking with Paro? What was the ultimate purpose of all that?
Give them a 3-day head start.
Well, they wanted, wasn't Moshe's intention really to leave entirely? The 3 days was just being diplomatic?
Mm. Yeah, we just said that.
What?
We just said that.
Yeah, well,
The question is why.
Right, so that's the whole point.
because he's dealing with the king. He can't say to the king, listen, we're leaving, goodbye. He's just saying we're leaving for 3 days. So
Yeah.
it's
But
a diplomatic way of getting out.
Yeah.
Well, if you're working for Kadosh Baruch Hu, you don't have to be a diplomat. Just have to say the truth.
Well, as I said before, it gives him a 3-day start in case the Egyptian army starts to come after them.
But if you're working for a Kadosh Baruch Hu, do you need a 3-day start?
I don't know. People might feel that. But
Yeah,
also,
that's a good point.
But
Lou's
also-
making a good point. Why not just go to power and say, listen, Hashem's on our side, goodbye. Right?
But also, it gives you 3 days to prepare.
Who? The Paro?
No, 3 days for the Israelis to prepare to do their sacrifices and that. So we had 3 days to prepare for Shavuos.
What?
Right. See, if you take a look, if you go back to the end of Parsha Shmos, actually, in the Perek Hey, Pasuk Aleph.
Correct.
V'achar ba'u Moshe v'Haron v'yomeru el Paro ko amar Hashem Elokei Yisrael shalach es ami v'yachogu li b'midbar. And afterwards, Moshe and Aaron came and said to Paro, thus says Hashem, the God of Israel, send my people, and they will have a holiday to me in the wilderness.
let's continue on.
Vayomer Paro, mi Hashem asher eshma bekolo le shalach es Yisrael lo yadati es Hashem v'gam es Yisrael lo ashaleach. And Paro answered, who is God that I should listen to him, to his voice, to send the Jewish people? I know Hashem, and also, I'm going to say, it said, I do not know Hashem. Oh,
That's right.
lo, I do
you
not
don't.
know Hashem.
Right.
And also, I will not send the Jewish people.
Okay, continue on. Next pasuk.
Vayomer al Elokei ha-ivrim nikra aleinu neilcha na derech shaloshes yamim b'midbar v'nizbecha laHashem Elokeinu pen yifgaenu b'derech o becharev. So it says, they said, that's Moshe and Aaron said, the God of the Hebrews happened upon us. Please send now, please, we will go 3 days into the wilderness, and we will sacrifice to Hashem our God, lest he encounter us. Is that the same word as we saw before?
Right. Pen yifgaenu b'davar o b'cherem.
Lest he encounter us with a plague or the sword. So is that word encounter the same word twice?
Where do we see it? The first by Nikra. If we Nikra Aleinu, I think he's Nikra, meaning he's Nikra, not encountering them, but they're called upon them, meaning they're referred to them. The God of the Yidden is Nikra Aleinu. He's a reference to us, meaning we're associated with him.
Right. So what we're seeing here is that they're kind of backing down. I think they started out saying, send us out, we want to go. And he said no. And they said, listen, we ran into God, and he says, send us for 3 days. And if we don't go, something bad's going to happen to us. It sounds like they're kind of appeasing him, Paro.
Yeah, that Rashi says that, but I mean, we get that in a minute. But there was never any statement here about that we're going and never coming back, right?
That's right. They even originally they said, send us out so we can worship. They didn't say so we can leave.
Right. So
the whole thing is kind of false.
Oh, so this is a big question. We won't go into too much today. We'll cover it another time. But the whole point about the 3 days will eventually be used as a ploy. Let's put it this way: the whole purpose of the 3 days is really a ploy to eventually have Paro and his people chase after us into the Yam Suf, right? So, but we'll hold on for that. That's not the, I don't want to discuss that too much right now. But so in the eyes of Paro, right, it was really only a 3-day vacation they were asking for. Just asking for a 3-day vacation, maybe a
But
couple of
was
days.
was that Moshe Rabbeinu's intention?
I don't think so. What was
Moshe's intention was to leave totally, right?
what did the Kadosh Baruch Hu say at the snare? Remember what Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu at the snare? He said,
It's interesting that in many other cases, we have a structure where Hashem says to Moshe, go and do this or go and say this. And then they go and do it or they go and say it. But in this case, it never says that Hashem told Moshe what to say.
right. Well, it says here, 1 second. Oh, go back even further. Go back to Perik Gimel, Perik Gimel. And start with Tes Zion by Hamishi over there.
That's Zion.
Right, Tes Zion.
Lech Safta es Ziknei Yisrael v'amarta aleihem Hashem Elokei Avosechem Nir'eh Elai Elokei Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Lemor Pakadati Eschem ve'es ha'asu lachem b'Mitzrayim. So go and gather the elders of Israel and say to them, Hashem, the God of your fathers, appeared to me, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I have indeed taken account of you.
Those were the code words. That was the code words of Hakod Pekadati. That was the code word for the redemption.
Right. And redemption is not a 3-day journey.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And what has been done to you in Egypt?
Let's go another few psukim.
Vayomar A'aleh eschem me ani Mitzrayim el Eretz HaKinaani v'ha-Chiti v'ha-Emori v'ha-Prizi v'ha-Chivi v'ha-Yevusi el Eretz Zavas Chalav Udavash. Let's see, where does it start?
Are we back to Ches?
No. We're right back, still back in there. Shmos over there. First, just right over there.
We're on Gimel Yud Zion.
Still on Yud Zion?
Gimel
Yeah.
Yud Zayin, right.
And I said, and I have said, I shall bring you up from the affliction of Egypt to the land of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, to a land flowing with milk and honey.
That sounds like the real deal, no?
Yeah, right. That's it. This is not this is a one-way trip.
Right,
It doesn't sound like the Midbar.
right. Didn't, right, originally there was no plan for 40 years in the Midbar, right? There's no plan for that.
Right.
Yeah, we messed
3
that
days.
up pretty
There's a
good.
plan for 3 days in the Midbar.
Well, we'll see. Let's see next couple of psukim.
V'sham'u lekolech uvasa ata v'ziknei Yisrael el melech Mitzrayim va'amartem elav Hashem Elokei ha'ivriim nikra Aleinu ve'ata nelcha na derech shloshes yamim b'midbar ve'nizbecha lashem Elokeinu. Okay, so and they will listen to my voice, and you and the elders of Israel will come to the king of Egypt and say to him, Hashem, the God of the Hebrews, appeared upon us, and now please let us go on a trip of 3 days in the wilderness, and we will sacrifice to the Lord our God.
In my translation, I don't know if it's significant or not, it says, the eternal God of the Hebrews has happened to meet us. Probably just language.
Yeah, has been revealed to us. So as, yeah, either way, good, very good.
Nikra is the word, right?
Nikra, right.
So nicker, if you say something's nicker, it means that it's apparent.
Right. That's right.
Right.
But it also can mean it occurred, meaning it occurred. There was a revelation of sorts.
You know, it makes it sound like when he's talking to Paro and he says Elokei ha'evrim, that's talking Paro's language.
Right.
Because Paro, they had a God for everything.
Right.
And I mean, what we believed was that Hashem was not just the God of the Hebrews, he was the God of the universe. So it's a little surprising that he would talk in those kind of limited description.
Right.
Because he's not just God of the Hebrews. The point that the Paro didn't understand was he was the God of the whole world.
Right.
Because Paro would think, well, if Hashem's the God of the Hebrews, so we'll get a stronger God. We'll get the God of the mountains.
So this is what you said. It could be that when they're talking to Paro, they're talking his language, right?
Yeah, that's why when they're talking to Paro and they say 3-day journey, that's just a diplomatic way of Paro saving face.
Right. Okay. So so good. We're gonna hold on to this. Okay, we have to hold on. We're not gonna have time to discuss this point in full yet. But this facade of 3 days, right, is gonna turn out to be very important. So and you see that this 3-day facade was built into the very structure of the negotiations that that Moshe Rabbeinu was instructed to deal with Paro with. So we're going to come back to that. Okay, so you'll, as we get further on the next week and the week after that, next 2 weeks Parshas, we'll see how that'll develop. We'll try and develop this point as we go on from week to week. So now let's go back to where we were. And this was again on in Perek Chet, the 8th chapter. We had now come to the Pasuk Gimel. That's where it says Derek Shloshes Yomim Ne'eli, the Midbar. Right? We're going to go for 3 days journey in the Midbar. Zavachnu Hashem Elokeinu, and we'll offer to Hashem Kasher Omer Aleinu, as He has spoken to us. And that's what was presented to Paro. Okay, let's see now, and then so let's just review Pasuk Chav Daled. Let's look at that Pasuk Chav Daled again. V'yomer Paro. Now Paro responds.
V'yomer Paro, Anochi ashalach eschem uzevachtem lashem Elokeichem b'midbar rak har chek lo sar chiku leleches ha tiru ba'adi. So it says, and Paro said, I will send you, and you will offer to the Lord your God in the wilderness, only do not go far and pray for me.
Oh, so what do we make of these last 3 words? And pray for me. What's Paro? He's doing tshuva now.
He's being sarcastic.
To stop the plague.
Right.
He's saying, "Listen, I'm negotiating with you. I'll go ahead and let you do this, and you stop the plague."
It could be a face saver as well.
Exactly. That's what I think, Roy. Exactly.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Paro was believing all along that some way, somehow, he's going to be able to overcome all this magic from Moshe Rabbeinu. That somehow his magicians will figure out a way to get control again. He wasn't actually believing that this was HaKadosh Baruch Hu and it's all over and Hashem's running the world and I'm done for. I don't think he believed that at all. He was just trying to out negotiate Moshe.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's continue on. Very good.
Well,
Yes.
it was supposed to be Barry agreeing with Roy, but they said 2 completely different things. Roy said saving face, which has nothing to do with whether he believed that
No, it's just a follow-up.
Or not.
The follow-up.
The idea of saving face is before his people.
Yeah, but that's just the saving face is just a temporary negotiation. He's saving face now But all along, it's a postponement. Saving face. Oh no, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead, go, you go. But all along, he's planning like, how am I going to get control of these Jews again? So it starts with what Roy said. Yeah, he's saving face because he realizes right now something's going on that seems to be like I'm losing here. I'm not controlling things like I did yesterday. But I'll agree. I'll go along and we'll get together and we'll get him again.
Maybe what you're saying is that okay, I'm gonna send you out. You're gonna go offer to your God, and also what you're gonna be doing then when you're out there in the midbar, you're gonna be praying for me. So you're actually sort of doing my bidding as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
he could.
He's saving face as well. He's
Right.
saving face. He said, people ask him, Paro, why are you sending these Jews out? He says, oh, they're praying for me, right? They're going to be praying for me.
They believed in so many different gods that Paro, his attitude probably was, all right, so you made some kind of celestial connection temporarily to this God of the Hebrews. And when the moon changes, it'll go away. Whatever Paro believed.
Mm-hmm.
To him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was just another of the 1,000 deities that they had around in their living rooms.
Okay, could be. Let's see a little further. Let's continue on. Another pasuk or two.
Okay, let's see, where were we? We're at Kaf Hey?
Yes, okay.
Vayomer Moshe, Hine Anochi Yotze Me Imach V'Hatarti El Hashem V'Sar Ha'arov Mi Paro Me Vadav Ume Amo Machar Rak El Yosef Paro Hasel Le Vilti Shalach Es Ha'am Liz Boach Lashem. Okay, so Moses said, behold, I leave you and I will entreat Hashem, and the mixture of wild beasts will depart from Paro and his servants and from his people tomorrow. Only do not add Paro. The Paro should not add by only sending Hatel Bevilti.
Add what?
What? Should not continue to.
What does hotel mean?
Hold on. What's the Rak Al Yosef Paro Atchel Bilti Shalach Es Mi. It's like this. Okay, hold on. We're in the middle of pasuk here. Let's back up and start again from the beginning of the pasuk. Okay, remember, Paro said, "Okay, you can go, right? You go, and they're like, don't go too far, and also you'll pray for me." So, actually the Malbim says that Paro thought that the Makkah wouldn't be complete. The Makkah wouldn't go away until the Yidden would go out, offer the sacrifices to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And at the same time, they would be praying. At the same time, they'd be offering to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. They'd also pray for Paro, his sake, that and the makkah would be removed. Okay, that's what the Malbim says was the psychology of Paro at the time, right? So now Moshe comes. Now Moshe comes in.
Paro thought that. Did you? Is he? The Malbim is saying that Paro thought that his deity was causing the plagues. His own deities.
No,
it wasn't Moshe's.
No, not that at all. Paro thought that when he would allow the Jews to go out and serve their God, Kadosh Baruch Hu, through that service to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and in addition, their prayers for Paro, that would stop the plague.
So you're saying Paro believed in Hashem?
That's I think clear. And what does it mean that you should pray for me?
Well, maybe it means that he's acknowledging that Moshe is a master wizard, and he's saying, "Take it away."
Well, there would be no connection between the prayers and this.
What is hotel?
Excuse me.
But isn't Moshe Rabbeinu saying that, don't be a smart guy, Lo Yosef, don't continue to hotel. What does hotel means to be sarcastic, right?
Yosef.
In other words, Moshe is saying, I know you're making fun of me. You're making fun of me.
I'm not so sure. A second, I'm not so sure.
What is Moshe asking Paro to stop doing?
Altos, don't continue, right? Bro, the Umeama Machar, right?
To do what?
Again, look again. Paro, we have to think what's going on here. Paro was under the assumption that when they would go out, there would be 3 days gone. They do their offerings, and that would be a time that they would pray for him, and that would bring an end to the makkah, right?
Right.
Comes Moshe and says what? Look what Moshe says. I'm going to go out from before your people. But I'm going to pray, right? Like you said, I'm going to pray to Hashem, right? And through the prayers, right, it's going to remove the Ori from Paro and from his servants, right, and from his people. Machar, it's going to happen. Machar, you don't have to wait 3 days. You thought you wouldn't get a relief from the plague until we go out 3 days and come back, or whatever, right? But Moshe was saying, I'm going to do it for you tomorrow, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yosef.
Al Yosef.
And he's telling Paro what?
Rashi, the uncle says, Lo Yosef Paro Atchil. Says Sheker. Don't lie. Don't lie, Paro. Listen, you think you're gonna have to wait 3 days. You think you're gonna have to wait 3 days, and when we go out, meaning we're going out, and then we're gonna pray for you, and then you'll be free from this plague. I say, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to pray for you now, right? And just don't lie, meaning keep your promise. Levilti shalach esam, meaning don't lie from what you said about that we can go out and serve and pray to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Right?
Okay. So he's saying, I'm going to end the plague right now, so that our going out for the 3 days is not connected to the plague.
Right. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait 3 days.
In other words, if the plague was going on, Paro would be if the plague was going on, continuing for the 3 days, so Paro would be more or less forced to let them go out because he's suffering. So Moshe is saying, all right, I'll end the plague right now, right? So you don't have that excuse. You have to just let us go out on our say-so.
Right? Moshe Rabbeinu wanted Pharaoh to
Is
send
that
them
what
out
he's
l'shem
saying?
Shemaim. He wanted to send the Yidden out l'shem Shemaim.
Right, exactly. Nothing, no connection to the plague.
Right?
No connection to the plague, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Oh,
So
And-
he's saying to Moshe, but he's saying to Paro, stop making fun of me.
no, don't. He said the Torah
Because
says,
that's
don't
what
lie,
Paro's
don't
doing.
lie. No, don't lie. It's don't lie. Meaning keep your promise. He's telling me keep your promise. Yeah,
Yeah.
you think,
Right, don't lie, because he knows Paro doesn't, whatever word you use, if Paro's not going to keep his word. That's what Moshe is saying.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep your word.
No, he's not. He's telling him.
You're
he's,
just playing around with me.
no, well, I don't know about that. He's saying don't lie, meaning keep your promise. He's telling him to keep your promise. I'm going to take the plague away before you send us out, but don't lie and keep your promise to send us out, even though the plague is done. Okay. So then what's the next pasuk?
Yeah.
Right? Next pasuk.
Yeah.
Yetzig Moshe Kavav.
Yetze Moshe Me'im Paro Vayetar El Hashem. And Moshe went out from the presence of Paro, and he prayed to Hashem.
Okay, we'll come back to this. Don't finish up the psukim here. We'll a couple of more psukim.
Vayas Hashem kidavar Moshe vayasar ha'arov mi paro me avadav ume amo lo nishar echad. And Hashem did according to the words of Moshe, and he removed the wild beasts from Paro and his servants and his nation, and not one remained. What?
He cleaned up well. Everything was cleaned up and back to normal, right?
Right. Vayachbed Paro el libo gam bepa'am hazos below yishlach es ha'am. And Paro made his heart heavy also this time, and he did not send the nation, the
How
people.
do you like that? True to form, right, Barry?
Exactly. Exactly. That was his intention the whole time.
Is there an implication here that because it says Paro made his heart heavy, that he was going to fulfill his word and send them out, and then he changed his mind?
I'm not so sure. I don't know.
Because that would affect the whole idea of Paro's psychology, whether he, whether this was all a big plan of his, that he was manipulating Moshe, and he never intended it to send them out, or whether he was just kind of reacting to the situation under the stress. He was waffling back and forth.
Well, again, the original agreement was Pharaoh agreed to send them out, and they should pray for him as well. And there's no reason why Pharaoh shouldn't have wanted that to happen if they were going to go out there and pray for him, and that would be a hope that the plague would end. So why shouldn't he at that point want to keep his word? No reason why. But Moshe Rabbeinu said, listen, I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to end the plague by praying for you now, right? We don't have to wait 3 days. It's Nebuch on you poor Egyptians suffering so much from these wild animals, right? I'm sure no one would enjoy you being picked up by an albatross and being carried out over the ocean and being devoured on some iceberg there in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not sure any Egyptians would enjoy that, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu said, look, let's put an end to this quickly. Don't have to wait 3 days. I'll pray for you now. And listen, just keep your word. All I'm asking is I'll end it right now for you. Or tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow, I'll end it tomorrow. Just keep your word. So I said, Paro true to form. Like once the plague was gone. So didn't keep his word. Right? Moshe Rabbeinu warned him. So that's just a picture into the psychology of Paro. He didn't really care, right, to send the Jews out. He didn't really care, right, for the Jews to pray for him. All he cared was getting this plague done with and over. That's all he cared about. Just if Paro could have taken a pill and
But didn't he also care that he wanted to keep the millions of slaves? Didn't he care? Paro also cared that he didn't want to lose all these slaves.
Well, the base of Levi
That mattered to him too. This was slave labor.
The base of Levi says after the first Makkah of Dam, economically, right, there was so much damage to the economy of Egypt that it didn't pay to keep the slaves. Whatever the slave labor would be worth, right? It wasn't worth the damage to the economy, and now we're holding 3 or 4 makkahs into the 10. Every time something happened, it was even after the first makkah, it was not worth keeping the Jews anymore because of the monetary loss of the slave labor. They weren't using the Yidden for anything.
Isn't it true that
they didn't need all the things that the Jews were doing?
Right.
They didn't need all those things. That wasn't they weren't doing
right? Because the economy was at a standstill
Yeah, everything stopped. We're finished.
anymore.
That's right. That was all over. Right.
Everything was at a standstill. You're saying, right?
Exactly. Everything stopped. That's right. Closed all the hotels, all the casinos, all the movie theaters. Sports came to a close. All the gladiator and lion eating festivities, all that came to an end, Barry.
That's right.
No fun in Mitzrayim anymore.
But Paro thought this was all temporary.
Well, he was hopeful.
I mean, Paro thought, didn't Paro think that it just happens that this, whatever Moshe had made connection to, was he tapped into some power, Moshe, and he was he just wanted to be a leader like Paro.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it's impossible to Paro. I mean, the Paro said, "Wow, look at this! The Jews are being rescued by this great tzaddik. This is a terrific thing, Gesundheit, go." No, he was just viewing Moshe as an adversary.
Right. Okay. Good enough.
No, I mean, he was Moshe. Paro was a rat. He was not a good guy. Somebody has to be the bad guy in the movie.
Rabbi,
Yeah, Lou.
it's 10:31. Can you tell me what I should say at my Shabbos table?
Well, let's put it this way: that we have to first of all think about what is this seemingly ploy of 3 days? What's this ploy of 3 days all about? And that we're not going to answer that for another week or two. That's number one, right? Number two is, you see that we shouldn't take a superficial attitude towards Paro that whether what he believed in, what he didn't believe in, but he reflects the attitude and the philosophy is that who's serving who? Meaning, when you look at people who are Oivdei Avodah Zarah, right? They're using their false gods as ways and means of achieving what they want, right? They believe whatever they believe. I don't know what they believe exactly, but whatever they believe, they're using their gods to achieve what they want, right? It's not serving their gods because their gods are all powerful and are in control over them. No, they believe that they're in charge over their gods. They use their gods as we use our lawnmowers, our cars. We want to get from Yerushalayim to Bnei Brak, so we get into a car and we drive, right? So they want good crops to grow. So
Right.
they'll pray for their Gashmias to be successful. That's what they're praying. That's why they're serving their gods. They're serving their gods that their Gashmias should be successful. We
Right.
don't serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu that way. We have to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu because he's our master, right? He's our master, and he's the king of the universe, the Almighty. It's true, he has power to give us success in our ruchnius, in our gashmias, physically and spiritually. He has that power, right? But that's not the reason why we're serving Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're doing the mitzvahs of Kadosh Baruch Hu because those are our commands. He's commanding us. We're not commanding him. Right, when it comes to the non-Jews and their gods, they're commanding their gods, right? They might want to give them a little bit of bribery, give them some nice incense or pour some blood or wine in front of them, right? But we're not doing that. We're doing these things with how we serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu is completely different. We're doing our thing with the Kadosh Baruch Hu because these are the commandments that he wants us to fulfill. And through the fulfillment of the commandment, that's our success. Our success is not that we are. Meaning, how do you show your allegiance, your loyalty to Kadosh Baruch Hu? By listening to his commandments, right?
Right.
And our success is because we're fulfilling his commandments. That's what gives us success, right? In contrast, when a person's going to be serving Avodah Zarah, right? That was Paro's attitude. Go out there, right? Serve what you have to do for the 3 days, and then while you're out there, you'll pray for me, right?
It won't hurt. It won't hurt.
No,
You know what I mean? Just in case, just in case.
Yeah.
In other words, he wasn't
We're
believing
eating
in
into
Hashem when he
Rabbi
said
Leonard's
that.
time.
Right. Excuse me, Lou.
I said we're eating into Rabbi Levitt's time.
Okay, all right, good.
Whoa,
So,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Shem, okay, everyone have a good Erev Shabbos. We'll see you all on Yom Rishon, Mr. Shem.
I don't think I'll be around then. I've got something else to do. I've forgotten what, but there's something there. So I'll see you next time I see you.
Next time we'll
Okay.
see
It
you.
may
Okay, have a
be
good
Hashem's
Shabbos.
will that you'll remember what you forgot.
It's in the diary. Okay.